Mary was clearly not herself. It was like the light was turned off. Something was very wrong.
One rare blood test would eventually solve the medical mystery, but it opened the door to a new one. The evil kind. The kind of case where nothing was what it seemed.
I hate Caitlin Ann Conley because Caitlin Ann Conley murdered my mother.
I'm innocent.
Well, if Caitlin didn't do it, who did it?
Are you a monster?
No, I don't believe I'm a monster. I don't think anyone would call me a monster.
Who you ask or what piece of evidence you decide to focus on will likely determine who you believe is responsible for the death of Dr. Mary Yoder. This case was so polarizing that the victim's family is divided over who they think is responsible for her 2015 murder. And on top of that, all three suspects were also people close enough to Dr. Yoder to appear in her obituary. Welcome back to Injustigate. My name's Justin Sullivan, and I'm a journalist based out of Buffalo, New York, who's covered everything from murder trials to chicken laws, here to talk about everything you never knew you were curious about. So without further ado, let the investigation begin. Dr. Mary Yoder was born Mary Louise Burkhardt on March 18, 1955, to Norma Janet Marie and Arthur Backert in Buffalo, New York, where she was one of 7 siblings, 5 of whom were girls. She earned her doctorate in chiropractic medicine from Life Chiropractic College in 1986 and married her husband, Dr. William Yoder. They would go on to have 3 children together, Leanna, Tamarin, and Adam. At the time of her death, Mary was a grandmother to 7 grandchildren from her daughters' respective marriages. Mary was known for her positive energy, holistic lifestyle, and love of life. She loved to dance, sing, garden, and spend time with her family. One of the few facts that everyone can agree on is that Mary was an innocent victim in this case, who did nothing to deserve such a tragic fate. One of Mary's last days alive was July 21st, 2015. But it started just like any other day. Mary went into the chiropractic office she co-owned and ran alongside her husband, who goes by Bill, early that morning as planned and managed to leave to help her mother before the afternoon, when she suddenly fell ill, experienced symptoms similar to a stomach bug or food poisoning. Mary left her office early to go home, where her symptoms progressively got worse. That night, Mary was taken into the hospital, where she would die the following day from what her loved ones described as a slow and painful death. Once it was revealed that Mary's daily supplements were not contaminated with anything to explain her sudden death, Yoder's relatives began to view the death as suspicious and eventually contacted law enforcement. An autopsy later determined that Yoder's death was caused by the anti-inflammatory gout treatment drug colchicine, and ruled a homicide. For most of the Yoder family and the community shocked by Mary's untimely death, this was the first time hearing the name colchicine. That makes sense, as colchicine is considered hazardous for its very narrow therapeutic window, meaning the difference between a safe dose and a toxic dose, or lethal one, is small. In overdoses, it can lead to rapid or severe multi-organ failure by disrupting cell division. Toxicity can lead to severe gastrointestinal damage, bone marrow suppression, liver and kidney issues, and nerve complications with no specific antidote to treat an overdose. It is not something a regular person can purchase. It can only be purchased through a doctor's office, like the one Mary owned with her husband, Bill, in the last place she was seen alive. While the clients at Mary's office remember Bill's distant, cold demeanor as a stark contrast to Mary's sunny, welcoming personality, the couple was not the only 2 working at the office. Leading the front desk that day was 23-year-old Caitlin Conley, whom Mary looked at as one of her own daughters. But she was more than just the responsible family office manager. She was also the on and off again girlfriend of Mary and Bill's youngest child and only son, Adam Yoder. Adam and Caitlin reportedly met at a graduation party a few years prior, but throughout the years, the relationship would grow to appear toxic to everyone around them, with Caitlin even claiming that Adam stalked and abused her, often in an aggressive, alcohol-induced blackout. Adam's dangerous behavior notably caused a rift between him and his parents, Bill and Mary, who were reportedly beginning to set boundaries with their son. In November 2015, the medical examiner's office received an anonymous letter that pointed to Adam. The letter alleged that Adam had confessed to killing his mother and that the police could find the colchicine bottle used to kill her in his car. It all seemed way too easy, and investigators began to consider who might have a reason to frame Adam. That letter led investigators to suspect someone else: Adam's girlfriend and Mary's office manager, Caitlin Conley. At the time, the only person appearing to have any motive was Mary's husband, especially as it was revealed that Bill would receive a $400,000 life insurance payout at a time when the couple's business had been experiencing a rough patch. Even more suspicious was that he was now in a relationship with Mary's sister, Kathy. Conflicting sources say the relationship started very shortly after the time of Mary's death. Caitlin's parents brought her down to the police station for her initial questioning, where she spoke to investigators without an attorney present. "Don't do this ever. Always use your Miranda rights." She and her parents say that the reason they spoke to investigators without an attorney present was because they had nothing to hide. After hours of interrogation, Caitlin admitted to writing a letter, giving investigators what they saw as probable cause to consider her a prime suspect in the murder of Dr. Mary Yoder. The assistant district attorney alleged that Conley killed Yoder for two reasons: to get back at Adam for their tumultuous relationship, or to create a traumatic event in Adam's life that would ultimately bring them back together. Perhaps the biggest piece of evidence in this case was Caitlin's cell phone, filled with searches of colchicine and notes written in the Notes app about lethal levels per pound. Also on her phone was login information for the email account used to purchase the colchicine bottle believed to kill Mary. But the account is registered as Adam Yoder using the email mradamyoder1999@gmail.com. Additionally, it was found that the Visa cards used to pay for the bottle were purchased by Caitlin Conley. She would go on to say that those prepaid cards were ultimately stolen by Adam. Caitlin was eventually charged with second-degree murder, forgery, falsifying business records, and 2 counts of larceny. A letter to the court alleges that Bill and Adam were both dangerous individuals who each had something to gain from Mary's death. According to the sisters, Bill had his own knowledge and experience using colchicine, having used it to grow super marijuana in the 1980s. The sisters noted that Bill suspiciously pushed for Mary to be cremated quickly after the autopsy, rather than questioning the nature of her death, not only as a husband, but as a doctor. The sisters also said that Bill possessed the knowledge to frame somebody and had the most interaction and time with Mary to poison her. It was never determined when Mary ingested the poison that killed her, but it was believed to be in a shake powder that was kept in her home that she shared with Bill. Caitlin's first trial ended with a hung jury, and the surrounding community was just as torn, especially those who knew both the Yoders and the Conleys. Her second case finished with an acquittal on the most serious charge, second-degree murder, but a conviction on the lesser charge of manslaughter. Caitlin Conley was sentenced to 23 years in prison. Throughout both trials, damning pieces of evidence and allegations about not only Caitlin, but also Bill and Adam came to light. One significant claim made during the trial was that Caitlin allegedly once gave Adam what she claimed was a vitamin supplement that made him sick. However, this claim was never proven. Separately, the timing of the letter accusing Adam was also used against Caitlin, as it was sent during one of the couple's off periods. Caitlin's defense claimed that with all the evidence against both the Yoder men, Caitlin could not be convicted beyond a reasonable doubt. Caitlin did not testify in either of her trials. Most of the world heard from her for the first time in an interview with ABC for the 2024 Hulu documentary Little Miss Innocent, where she maintained her innocence. However, audience noted Caitlin's affect throughout the interview, where she appeared to dodge questions about the respective evidence against her and laugh at inappropriate times. The one thing she appeared to take some responsibility for was remaining in the toxic relationship that she claimed led her to being falsely imprisoned for a murder she did not commit. In 2025, the legal saga of Caitlin Conley took another unexpected turn when a New York court overturned the 2017 conviction in the fatal poisoning of Dr. Mary Yoder. The problem, the appeals panel concluded, was that her defense had not done enough to stop prosecutors from introducing key evidence, which was Conley's cell phone, which they ruled was obtained with an improperly written warrant. Throughout Caitlin's 7-year sentence, the case garnered national attention and spawned a New York Times best-selling novel, We Thought We Knew You. And the local legal community was talking about the case too, with one judge receiving requests to step down after rumors circulated that she had overheard at a holiday party saying she believed Caitlin to be innocent after she had already been found guilty by a jury. Despite the requests of the district attorney's office, that same judge also sealed evidence in the case, which is a major factor in whether Caitlin will be indicted again or not. As of late, the district attorney's office has said they are eyeing taking this case to a grand jury to determine if there is enough probable cause to formally charge her for a third time. Bill and Adam received immunity from the district attorney's office in exchange for their testimonies against Caitlin, meaning they can never be charged with Mary's death. The men requiring and receiving legal immunity was just another lesser-known dimension to this case. As it sits in the eyes of the district attorney's office, justice for Mary Yoder only looks like convicting Caitlin Conley, something that followers of the case have called out. The investigation was often seen as sloppy and criticized by multiple parties for not being thorough enough, and the fact that it has been over a decade and Mary Yoder's killer, whoever one believes that is not behind bars, is evidence of that. After she was sent to prison, Caitlin's loved ones, as well as Mary Yoder's 3 sisters, campaigned for her release. Caitlin's supporters noted how much of the evidence pulled off her phone was also found on her former boyfriend Adam's computer in a backup file labeled Katie's iPhone, which they say happened when Caitlin synced her phone to Adam's computer. It is often said that there are 3 sides to every story. One side, the other side, and the truth. But what happens if in all 3 versions, no one is completely innocent, except the victim, who was betrayed by someone she loved in all 3 versions, who is currently not seeing justice, and may never receive it. Thank you for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And until next time, stay tuned and stay curious.